welcome to Spiritual Conversations. Sometime when we're ready to record, we kind of have an idea of what we're going to do. This time it's like, no, I have no idea.
No, you don't.
Cari said, we've got to do this one. I said, okay, let's just do it. I am Candice Sanderson here in Naples, Florida, and my good friend here is
Cari
Palmer from
in rainy Washington. It's the seasonal affective disorder season for us right now. We saw the sun the other day, though. It was for a second, but it was so awesome.
Well, that's great. We see the sun here all the time. It's so hot. So, Cari, take it away. What are we talking about today? I'm excited to find out.
This is so interesting because I can get very emotional here. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm going to pull a Candy.
No, welcome to my world.
So yesterday I was honored to be Donna Rebado's guest on Exploring Consciousness podcast, talking about my friend Candice. And so Candice, as you know, since you've known me, I moved into that place in Olympia, February of 19. I met you 2 months later. So you met me when I was in a place where I had control over my environment. I had stillness. I mean, that was when the stillness really settled inside of me, the presence. You know me, I had visitors from my friend Barry turning on my lamp. I mean, I felt spiritually I was unfolding, but it was like I was in such a great place. So I meet you and we start our talks. And so anyway, so I keep growing and growing. And then I moved back here to the house. So what was interesting, so Donna sent me some questions that I had to go over to just, to think about our relationship and what she wants to talk about on the podcast.
Right.
So since I'm present all the time, I don't do reflection. So I don't go backwards in time. So when I looked at these questions and it's like, tell me about when you met Candice. So I looked back to the time and then I started looking back to when my spiritual journey started. And I really got blown away. It was like late fall of 2016, just over 4 years ago. It's a long story, but this woman appeared in my life who recommended a book to me, And I'm like, okay. And then she walked away. We've been gone. So I read this book. I listened to it on Audible as I was commuting. And as I was listening to this book, I felt like layers and layers of me were pulling back and being exposed. So as I'm reading the book, I was insatiable. I could not get enough. So then I got another book and then another book. And as I told you, I got Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. And when you first listen to that,
Cari, I've just got to stop you right here. When you start talking about things that are important to you, and you said, you might get emotional, which is the story of my life. I start telling my story and boohoo, I start crying. But the reason is because we open and we step into the frequencies that are so much higher than ourselves. Now, the reason I stopped you is in the last couple of minutes, I have seen orbs fly by you. Okay, and I have cold chills as I say this, because normally, I see orbs when I photograph them and I go back later and I look and there they are, but I've already seen them. So when it's time to edit this video, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to freeze frame the orbs for others to see. So I didn't mean to interrupt, but
I am so glad you did. If I
didn't say something, I would not have that bookmark to go back and know when to zoom in on the orb. So
no,
please,
and this is all part of what we're doing here. This is why we're having these conversations, because this stuff happens. So, all right, orbs. I mean, and I'm not surprised, trust me, from where I'm going here. Wow, this is so deep. So in 2016, I found the book, and then Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. And then, oh my God, this is nuts. When I read his book, and I told you when I first listened to it, it was like, who is this dude? How can you be so still? How can you be so present? Oh my God, I'm all red. And then I didn't realize, Candice, but after I read it, it was as if all of these books that I read, it was as if I left myself a trail of breadcrumbs. That when I found the first book, that was the first breadcrumb. I found a second book, but it wasn't reading them, it was remembering. It was
Yes.
not like I was learning something new, it was just reminding me of what I already know. Getting a tissue. It was reminding me of what I already know. Oh my. It was
See,
reminding me.
Cari, I keep my tissues next to me all the time because I have to.
My arms were that long. So it's been reminding me of what I already know. So I didn't realize it was not long after that when I read The Power of Now, I remember walking through the woods and my friend Danny called me. My daughter had been gone for 8 days to DC. I've maybe shared this story, but he called me, he goes, "Hey, how you doing?" "Good." He goes, "Hey, say, hey, do you miss your daughter?" And immediately I'm like, I must be a crappy mom because no, I haven't given her a second thought. I mean, I don't, I'm present. And so, and that's what he said. He goes, "No, you're a wonderful mom. You're just present." And now going back in time, looking at it, it was just a little over 4 years ago when I got the first book. And then I powered through so many books, like hundreds of hours. And then realizing once I read that Eckhart Tolle book, I went into presence. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to wonder how people do it. I went there. So I remembered that. And then I read the next books and the next books. And I can even attach my list. I've got to document all the books I've read that have brought me on this journey, including 2 of your books. But so I realized as I'm reading these books, each one that I read just opened me back up to where I just opened me back up to where I was when I knew it before. And it explains how I went from completely, I didn't know anything about this in December or like the end of 2016. And then 2 years of reading, I became the stillness that I was when I moved into that apartment, that house, and met you. And those were, now it's been 2 more years of immense stillness. So the fact that I was on this journey, and I just swear, it's like, Tom Campbell, we need to talk, because I feel like I am that virtual reality he was talking about. All it took was me finding that first book to remember, and then find the books, find the books, find the books. And then I've got to this
Or
place to where
the books found you.
yeah, oh, they did. They totally did. And so I've been processing this when I was like getting ready to talk to Donna and looking back, it's like, what has Candice done for you? And I'm just like, I'm just looking back. It's like, she has been that person I was brought to at that level because my vibration was rising, my frequency was going up. And so I had to go across the country to get to you. But you were meant to be in my life for so many reasons. And it's just, it's like finding you, and it's like I have such a small community of people that I'm around, and you are one of the 3.
Right,
Literally, it's
right.
like there's hardly anybody in my life, but that's because I choose it. I prefer to be alone. I'm at this place where it's like I'm just peaceful. I'm still. I don't want all this stuff going on in the world to try and get into me because it can't. But just I realized my evolution over these last couple of years because I had to look backwards. When you're present, you
Right.
don't look backwards and you're not looking forward. And so looking back at all this stuff and my growth, I'm just like, I have been completely blown away. It's as if this could not have happened in one lifetime. It's as if it couldn't have. And I look back to when I was 30 something years old, I left my ex-husband. I was a card carrying victim. It was like, I had it all going for me. 6 months, Candice, I sat on a counselor's couch and with group therapy. In 6 months, I completely eliminated any thoughts of sexual abuse, all the torture and the stuff I went to. The memories are there, but they don't bother me one bit. I literally let go of letting everybody else be in charge of me. Driving my bus is the words I used. I got in the driver's seat of my bus, kicked all their butts off my bus. And so it's my bus. So in 6 months, I was able to let go of 30 plus years of abuse and victimhood. I did it in 6 months. I'm like, how did I do
Wow.
that? I
Wow.
don't understand my journey, but I just know that from dropping that and then 4 years ago, I just can't believe this has only been 4 years that I've been this. And I just can't wrap my brain around it.
But
Um,
Cari, it's all about the journey. And, we have guidance around us all the time. There is something that led you to read that first book. This woman comes into your life and says,
oh yeah.
read this. From that point on, you started vibrating at a different frequency. And when you did, because I look at everything through the lens of energy now, but as your vibratory status changed, then you became a beacon for a different set of frequencies and energies that came in. You read my book, or I think you listened to it on Audible,
Yes. Number
and
40. That
you
was the 40th book I read.
and you reached out to me, and I
And I had
immediately,
never done that.
oh
I read,
really?
you were the 40th book, Candy. I mean, I've never thought I'm going to reach out to an author, and I didn't know why. Literally, I read it, and I don't look at the copyright date or when something is printed. For all I knew, you wrote it in 1950. I didn't have a clue.
Right.
So I'm like, I have to reach out to this woman. So I went to your website, contact us. I'm okay. She made it easy. Just send a little note, and off it went. And then you got back to me, and it was like, thank you for reaching out. And I like said, hey, I love your books. And you said, oh, thank you so much. If you do, can you review it? Because we all know that is so critical. If you read books,
Thank
people, if
you.
you
Yes.
like them, review them. Please. Authors need that. And then we just started talking, and you mentioned, and I said, it'd be so cool if I could see you. I just feel like, we're so, and you're like, it took you a little while, but you're like, I'm going to be in Seattle in 3 weeks. I mean,
Right.
just the way everything lined
It
up.
just it did. Everything just kind of fell into place. But I mean, you reached out to me, and I have always responded to anybody who takes the time to contact me. I always respond back. And one of those orbs just flew up again as soon as I said that. But with you, it never stopped. We kept communicating, and here you were emailing me, Cari, and saying, I just know we're going to meet. I know we're going to meet. And I thought,
I don't
well,
know this
I'm
stalker lady.
actually I'm actually flying all the way from the East Coast, in Florida, to Seattle to go on a cruise with my daughter and her family. I didn't know at the time what our schedule would be like, and whether I would actually have time to, to spend with you. And as soon as I found out, yep, then we made this connection that was already there anyway.
Yeah,
But it was wonderful to actually meet you and see you in person.
I
And then
know.
how this developed,
I
our
know.
YouTube channel. I still don't know how that happened, but once someone comes into your life and you're vibrating on that same frequency, it's it's like you've known that person forever. And
Absolutely. And you could talk about anything. And it's what I think is fun in my talking to Donna. It's like, you're the yin to my yang, you're the left
yeah,
brain to my right brain. It's like the stuff that, you're like so organized. And I love it because I'm just like, oh, I'm post and go, and you're like, no, we got, but we balance each other so
yes,
amazingly. So amazing. So it was such an amazing journey to talk to Donna and just to look at those questions and look back at our relationship and what meeting you has done for my growth. And so just in our
oh,
conversations, let alone your two books, it's like what you're going to do for other people. Get your tissue. Um, it's just mind-boggling. Just knowing how my journey has come this far and this expansive, this it's like I don't, I mean, I just, my thought is pre-birth planning. I set myself up for one hell of an obstacle course in this life, knowing full
right.
well I could pull myself through it because there's no other explanation for how I got through everything I got through. But the fact that I'm here now, and so I went for a walk out in the sun the other day when it came out, and I walked way out on this trail in the middle of nowhere. And I just remember walking, putting one foot in front of the other, and remembering how and being grateful. I'm just like gratitude all the time. And I'm looking, and this is after I knew I was going to be talking to Donna. And as I'm walking and I'm looking down and I'm like, I'm at bliss, I'm at peace, I'm at happiness. I'm like, where do I go from here? It's like, I honestly, it's like, what is next? next? It's like, is this the end? Have I done it all? Box check, move on. But no, I just know I'm here to change lives and to share my story. But it's like, how do you get beyond bliss? I don't know.
Well, and then why do you want to get beyond bliss?
No, I don't.
You are at it. So what's happened, and if I remember some of the stories about Eckhart Tolle, the same thing kind of happened to him. Once he had dropped into this beautiful state of where he was, he used to go to this park and sit on a bench like for 2 or 3 years.
He just never left.
But what happened is eventually his beacon started shining brighter and brighter, and more people started coming into his orbit. So even if you've done whatever you need to do and you're in this bliss, you may not have written your book yet, you may not have done this yet, or this yet, but you are in this position of what I've been referring to for several years as the silent guru. All you have to do is be you and let your energy shine forth, and you'll start seeing all of a sudden, like those orbs that I'm seeing that are circling you, more and more positive energy will come into your orbit. And then that will be the foundation for the next step, whether that be in 3 months or 3 years.
Whatever. Okay, I just saw one, Candice.
Did you see it? I did
don't,
too.
I don't see these things. Okay, as we're speaking, my universe is changing. I am just, yeah. Oh my goodness. I just saw one.
Good,
I've never seen
good.
one.
I did too. I saw that one also.
You know what I saw the other night? I don't care if it's off topic. I was in the hot tub just being grateful, and out of the corner of my eye, I don't think I shared this with you, I saw like a sparkle. So I looked over and I saw a star as it started fading. It was like I saw it sparkle. So I'm just like staring at it and being grateful. It shot across the sky. I was just like,
love it.
I mean, I've never seen a shooting star in our area ever.
Wow.
Not since I've lived here for 21 years.
Wow.
So things, they are changing. And like what you said, I do know, I feel like the silent guru. I like that because I am so needing to be quiet all the time. I don't like, I go where there's no people. I go where there, and when I go walking through the forest, there's a road nearby. I pretend the cars are waves and it's an ocean. I have to, because I need to feel so removed from society. Right. But that's just what I've become. And yeah, so I've been so excited about sharing that. I just can't, I don't look back and I don't look forward. I don't reflect, but having that opportunity to reflect, getting ready for the podcast, it just took me to a place that I mean, I'm so glad I did. I mean, I do believe that's why Donna contacted me, because I needed to go back, and doing that has changed me yet again. So and thank you for all you do, Candice. I mean, your books are touching lives like crazy.
Donna's podcast is so powerful, and we'll have a link to her podcast in the description below. But what she does, she will interview one person a month, and on the Wednesday before that person's interview is on a Friday, she will interview someone who knows that person. And this is when Donna asked you, Cari, to be her interviewee to discuss me. Cari, true confession, I know that your episode was released yesterday. Mine is going to be released tomorrow. On Friday. But the true confession is I haven't heard it yet. So I plan on listening to it as soon as we're finished with today's recording. But ahead of time, I do want to tell you, thank you for the wonderful things you said. I hope. No,
nothing but. You know that.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do that and all the wonderful things that I'm sure that you said about me. I'm almost glad that I haven't listened to it because then I'd have to pull out the tissues once more and I'd start crying. But that's the way I
Well,
am.
I'm starting to realize that this is going to be a new staple in my life a lot more now.
Right.
It's because I don't have tears of sadness. I don't get sad. It's like the other night I broke down bawling and it was just joy. It was like, it was all after the questionnaire. It's like all this stuff has come through me. So, yeah, it's been pretty powerful, pretty profound what has happened to me, just reflecting, because I might have to reflect more often. Woo. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Because I'm
Well,
at such a great place.
and this is such a great place for us to end. So what we're learning is sometimes, although being present is so powerful, sometimes putting a pause on that and reflecting on how you got here can help you really appreciate where you are right now. Sometimes taking that pause can help you really understand in your heart what's important in your life and how you got there.
Yes, and how
So,
far you've come from where you were,
yes,
because
yes.
that's something I would not have noticed had I not looked at that timeline. And I mean, I was thinking I was going to look back at my spiritual journey. I swear it's been 10 years. It's been just over 4. I,
Wow.
it'll be a while before I wrap my brain around that.
Right.
So,
Time is very fluid anyway. It doesn't
mhm.
really exist. So
So,
until next time, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. And Cari, this was wonderful. It was good to see you cry.
oh, and I can't wait to see the orbs.
I know that
I
doesn't
saw
happen
one.
very often with you. And so when you really get emotional and then those orbs started flying in, that really told me that you had stepped in this beautiful frequency. So thank you for being so genuine.
And thank you for being my friend. It means everything to
Oh,
me. And
thank
thank you
you.
for doing this show with me. And this has just been a blast. So please subscribe and share and start your journey if you haven't, man. I mean, the way you feel is just, it's indescribable. You just, there are
Absolutely.
no words. There are no words. So until next time, and I'm going to
Bye.
blow my nose. All right. Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.